What in the hell? I asked myself as I scratched my head. Did I see that sign correctly? If you see a floating body, what do you mean floating? Floating like in space. What the? Run the opposite direction. Or take shelter. Why? I asked myself. The signs are everywhere. One sign on every trees. The signs are well made too, like metal road signs with printed digital text. I'm starting to hyperventilate and get freaked out by these weird signs. It's 5 p.m., almost night, and I'm still lost. I was driving on a distant province to visit a long relative and got lost. I drove for 4 hours away from civilization. I entered a couple of long dark tunnels. I took turns on roads with dense trees at the side, some concrete, and some dirt road, only to realize that I've been reading my map wrong this whole time. I got lost and attempted to backtrack, only to stop at a weird part of the woods with a bunch of weird red metal signs with a weird white text. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. I attempted to calm myself as I look at the sign. The sky is turning blue and the night is coming, but it's been an hour of driving alongside trees since I last passed by a fellow car. I fear that I might have to spend the night driving the road at dense trees, alone. Another weird note that I notice is that the signs only exist on one side of the road. They weren't placed on any trees at the other side, only at this side. The trees plastered with signs continued up on a hill. My curious mind followed the hill. I climbed the peak whilst passing by multiple trees with the sign pinned on them. Now at the peak of the hill, my tensed heart was calmed by a beautiful sight. It was a small town below with a bunch of people beneath. The town seems to be lively and active, full of life and activities. People drinking on bars, children playing on a playground, and people chatting all over outside. The town may have been covered with trees and mountain, but nonetheless, it was somewhere to spend the night, and asked for directions. Finally, civilization, I yelled. My eyes followed the road that will lead me towards the town. It was only a few more minutes of drive. I just need to enter that green rock tunnel, and I'll reach them soon. I got so lost that I didn't even notice that I went up a mountain, and now I'm overlooking a beautiful town from above. But what the heck are these signs? They're also everywhere around the town. A high-pitched tornado siren immediately whirs all over the town. Red lights suddenly covered the streets as the siren rumbled very loud. It made me duck and cover my ears. I looked down below and saw panicking. People that were drinking at the outside tables of a restaurant immediately ran inside. The children playing at the playground ran for the sewers along with some adults, taking cover at the nearest possible area. I saw everybody make haste to take shelter, taking cover on houses that weren't theirs or places that they shouldn't be. What the hell was that? Is there a tornado? The town emptied its streets in a mere minute. Items all over the ground, drinks and food being left at the table, windows and doors being closed, and curtains all shut. It was a horrifying sight to be viewed from above. The piece that I saw below were immediately turned in a desperate run for cover. I hugged a tree and ducked beneath it in fear of whatever it is that they ran off from. I scanned the area and saw no tornadoes, but instead I noticed something very weird. What the hell was that? I saw a tree at the town. It was getting pulled off of the concrete pavement, its roots coming along with it, getting pulled upwards towards the air. What in the? Then I saw bodies, at least tens of them. I saw people from different areas, some from the forest, some from the road, and some from the town. They emerge and become noticeable as they float upwards like a balloon, slowly ascending to the air. I saw some animals too, tens of them as well, floating upwards. It was a weird sight to see. Floating people, animals, and trees as if gravity stopped working for these beings. The sight immediately changed from weird to very violent all of a sudden. I noticed that the trunk and the branches of the trees are getting twisted and turned violently as if some force is bending them, breaking them, and curving them as they levitate. The bodies of the animals and people then started twisting and bending violently in ways they shouldn't. Limbs being distorted, joints being twisted, waists being bent the wrong way backwards, and some heads being turned like a bottle cap. I hear them scream in pain and agony as their bones get contorted the wrong ways. The screams and cracking of bones goes along with the siren, making a choir of horrifying music. It was my cue to run. I ran down the hill towards my car. I panicked to get my keys and drove as fast as I could. I drove towards the town and made it to the Green Rock Tunnel. This tunnel leads straight to that town. I drove through the tunnel with my car ignoring the speed limit, but when I'm midway on traversing the tunnel, A surge of strong wind, like an explosion. It killed the engine of my car, and all the lights on the tunnel. My car came to a halt, and it suddenly went dark. The only light at the end of the tunnel is what I can see. I rolled up my windows and locked my doors in an attempt to shelter me from whatever is going on outside. It was quiet, still, and dark. The only thing I can hear is the violent beating of my heart and the siren, still ongoing. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? I tried breathing slowly, not just to calm my heart but to attempt and conceal myself. Conceal? From what? I feel like I should do so, that I should breathe as little as possible. I don't know why, but my instinct tells me to. Rain. It started raining outside. I squinted my eyes at the end of the tunnel and saw the rain. It was red. The blue light at the end of the tunnel were showing me red droplets of rain along with some splinter of wood showering the road at the other end. Chills ran down my spine, and my body felt extremely cold, not because of the weird rain out of nowhere, but because of what I sensed. I sensed something behind the car, behind the tunnel. I stopped breathing in an attempt to conceal myself. I peeked at my side mirror to see what's behind the tunnel, to take a peek on what presence I felt. There I saw red eyes glowing from the distant. They are at the tunnel and is slowly approaching my direction. My blood ran cold with terror, and I covered my face with my hands. I didn't wish to see what was coming, and I'm too afraid to breathe. I wanted to hide. I sneaked some small inhale and exhale from here and there, but I tried breathing as little as possible. I was frozen in fear. The quiet was interrupted when all of a sudden, my car immediately started again, and the engine growls loud. It made me scream and jump from my seat. I opened my eyes and looked around. I see the tunnel lighted back on again, my car also running again. I peek at the mirrors and saw nothing. Is it over? I drove slowly until I reached the outside of the tunnel. The rain had stopped, but I saw that the road is wet with thick red blood and full of wooden splinters. I drove to the town and saw the people coming out of their covers, children crying, and people panicking. I drove slowly along the road until someone waved their hands in front of my car in an attempt to stop me. He screamed to me and said, "Hey, you there at the car? Who the hell are you? He went from here. Did you just drive by recently?" He screamed. I stopped my car and talked from the car window. "Yes, I came from the tunnel. What the hell just happened? Where the hell am I? Really? You did just come by? Did you saw it happen?" He replied with panting voice. Yes, I saw whatever the hell just happened. I also saw whatever the hell those are in the tunnels. I replied, "They're at the tunnels. Sound the alarm. Everyone back at their houses."